Hey BookTube, Chelsea the Reading Outlaw here to do a book review for you guys today. The book I'll be talking about is Boy Erased, a memoir by Garrard Conley. This is a book that I first heard about on the All the Books podcast, a Book Riot production, and the minute I heard the pitch, I knew that I had to have it, so I put it on hold at my library. This is the story of Garrard's time in an ex-gay therapy program called Love in Action, and his kind of reflection on and story of how that incident came to pass and also the effect that it had on his life. This book was equal parts saddening and infuriating and incredibly enlightening. Let me just start out by saying I have never understood, believed in, or thought it plausible that ex-gay therapy could actually work. I feel that to go through ex-gay therapy or to believe that someone you love needs ex-gay therapy comes with an intrinsic and fundamental misunderstanding of how sexuality, family, love, respect, and religion are all supposed to work together. It's just a realm of something that I've never been able to understand. And while I still don't understand it and do not think in any way that Garrard Conley is promoting ex-gay programs, which luckily today are incredibly hard to find, I still think that he's able to convey a sense of how a believer from the inside can see that this choice of therapy action may be their only path to a life that they fear, and maybe their only path to a life that mimics or resembles the one that they've already come to know. To get into a little bit more of what the book is actually about, it takes place shortly after Garrard starts college, and he kind of has one of his first boyfriends or male sexual encounters, and this boy becomes so obsessed with Garrard and completely distraught that he outs Garrard to his friends and his family against Garrard's will without his knowledge. And then Garrard's father, who is a car salesman turned preacher, essentially tells Garrard that he will be going to this ex-gay therapy program ran by an institution called Love in Action, or he will lose his friends, his family, his church, his hometown, essentially everything that he has. And so Garrard is forced to make an incredibly difficult decision, and one that he has to reconcile for a very long time. The actual book itself is structured in kind of a flashback format, so we open with the scenes of Garrard arriving to therapy and what it's like to be in this therapeutic program, and the strictures and the lingo and the doublespeak and all of this kind of environment that he's placed in, and the relationship he has with his mother because of that, and the way that they're traveling together. And then we flash back to various scenes kind of coming forward to meet the future. So we go all the way far back to when Garrard first kind of breaks up with his girlfriend, to then his first college, interest, to all the way up until the point where he's at Love in Action, and then he goes forward into the future. One of the parts of this book that touched me the most and that was the most impactful to me actually comes towards the very end. And it is a section in which Garrard is talking about the way that people on the outside speak about things like ex-gay therapy and some of these other, to me, incredibly ridiculous and crazy fundamentalist thought streams and viewpoints and things that they think will work. And even now as I'm doing it, I'm realizing that it's happening, and there's this kind of snideness that you take, this kind of liberal superiority to automatically judge anyone who could ever be a part of that as somehow lesser. And that's something that I do. That's a flaw and a privilege that I have that this book pointed out to me. Because for the people who are in them, a lot of times it's no laughing matter. They feel incredibly desperate, whether through social manipulation or fear of loss of family or actual fear for your religion, being brought up in a church or a faith home that has taught you that these things that you are need to be fixed and are some kind of displacement or disease or other thing that you have to excise from your life in order to live happily. If you are truly raised and taught to believe that, and that is the truth that sits at the core of you, something like ex-gay therapy that preaches a potential salvation could be the very thing that you think that you need. And so to sit in judgment of that on several levels is just something that I found myself doing and that I don't necessarily like that I do. And I'm so grateful that I read it, and to Garrard Conley for writing it that way, for kind of opening my eyes to yet another way in which prejudice can work in through all the kind of cracks of our society. The only other thing I wanted to mention about this book is the writing. Small details, flashes. These would be all I could remember. Look directly at the burning light, and you become nothing but a pillar of salt. Just another object lesson on passive obedience. But still, I reach for a language. I walk right up to the edge of an unknown border, line up the tips of my white sneakers, and try to remember the details. So it's just this, there's this poeticism and this lyricism, and I think that comes because Garrard Conley was an English major. He speaks very much so about the power of stories and writing for him during therapy, as well as both before and after that. And I just think that it is an absolutely heartbreaking and enraging but still beautiful read that you should really pick up if you have any interest in memoirs as a genre of people who have gone through things like ex-gay therapy, people who are reckoning religion with sexuality. All of those things and more are covered in Boy Erased, a memoir. Here's the cover again. 4 out of 5 stars for me. Highly, highly recommend picking it up. Let me know down below if you've read it, if you've read anything similar, or you have anything that you think sounds like would be a good follow-up read to this. As always, you can let me know any other comments, questions, concerns, or thoughts that you may have down below. Down below is also where you'll find all my social media links, so you can come and chat with me on the internet. I love you guys all dearly. I'm always here to talk books. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.